Hello, hello. This is going to be a very quick reading. I just want to look into, I want to pull 3 cards each. Let's do 4. Let's 4 cards from Ethan, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee in reference to what they would want to tell us about the killer. In reference to what they would want to tell us about Bryan specifically, because he's not been convicted yet. So what they would want to tell us about Bryan. Let's start with, I want to start with Xana. The Hermit in reverse. He was lonely. He was isolated. 2 of Pentacles. He made a choice. He was weighing his options for quite an extended period of time. This wasn't a decision that he made overnight. Six of Cups reversed. I'm telling you, there's something from his childhood that is going to play a part here. It might not come out immediately, but it's going to come out. And also he has a one-track mindset. Once he focuses on something, he's unable to think about anything else. Like a magnet getting completely stuck to another magnet that like you have to really force them apart. That's how he became with this idea. The Hermit in reverse is also about rejection. And I just posted something on the community page right before I came on here. And I said that I feel like the connection with Hannah was him researching the case, and that's how he came across the girls. And I feel like it was a mix of rejection and then telling Adam details about the stalker, which made him feel like he potentially had to act right away. And that's the picture this is painting for me, because we have the rejection with the Hermit, the antisocial with the Hermit in reverse, that the withdrawal that people are saying that Bryan was experiencing during and after high school. And then we have the 2 of Pentacles, which is like he made a choice. He made a choice to bring what he was thinking into reality because he is unable to get over something from the past. This is rooting from something in his past. He's unable to forgive something from his past, and it's manifested as this sick desire to either gain like a negative notoriety, but a very vast one, or to try and get away with this. I don't know. I think either way, he feels like he's going to win, is essentially what I'm seeing here. The 7 of Pentacles, yeah. He was patient about this. He planted seeds. He didn't just wake up one day and see the right situation and jump on it. This is something that he was planning, which these details are coming out slowly, but Xana is definitely confirming this, that there's a tie to something in his past that has manifested into a very sick mindset. And that's not anything that anyone particularly did purposely, but it could just be a lack of connection that deeply rooted and stemmed into other issues. It could be a vast number of things, but essentially this was not just an overnight, oh, I'm going to do this now. This was planned. This was stemming from a desire that he's had for a long time. And there is some kind of rejection involved in this. Again, I don't think rejection is the main culprit. I think that rejection is like when you have a full glass of water and you shake it and it tumbles over. The rejection was the shaking of the water. It was going to spill anyway. It was at the top. It was about to boil over, but it got shaken by that rejection. And that's why it boiled over when it did, in the way it did. So I said, hold on. That was Xana. Now I want Maddie. The Fool in reverse. Eight of Cups in reverse. He made a mistake somewhere. Whatever his plan is that he thinks is going to get him out of this, there's a mistake in that plan. Eight of Swords reversed. I wonder if it's the DNA. He crossed all of his T's and dotted all of his I's, but didn't expect there to be DNA left behind. So I wonder if that implies that there was some kind of struggle that led to his DNA being left behind. Especially if his original target was one or two of those girls and he wasn't expecting Ethan and Xana, maybe he wasn't expecting someone to fight back in a way that could injure him. And that's kind of the loose piece of the puzzle here that is making the rest of his puzzle fall apart, because that piece no longer fits, because there was DNA left behind, which he wasn't expecting to happen if he only had to handle these two girls. But Ethan was there and caused some kind of problem that he wasn't expecting. Yeah, the Fool, Eight of Cups in reverse. Oh, Eight of Cups in reverse is like returning home. So he wasn't expecting Ethan and Xana to be there, returned home. Or awake, I don't know. Maybe he didn't know about that. I'm pretty sure he knew that they were there, or knew that they could potentially be there. He just wasn't expecting to run into them. Yeah, because that's also a fear of change. So that's like his plans, his original plans changed. And then the Eight of Swords in reverse is about surrender. So I really do feel like there's a piece of his plan that didn't fall into place, and I truly think it's that he wasn't expecting there to be a substantial fight back. And I think that that's due to Ethan waking up or being there when he didn't expect him to. Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, it wasn't part of his plan. Nine of Pentacles is saying to me that he would have been successful in getting away with this if his DNA was not left at the crime scene, because that's the only piece of, he thinks that that's the only piece that they're going to be able to like solidly connect. And that was not expected to happen. He took some kind of precaution so that he would not leave DNA. And I know that we know that because he's very smart, but I almost feel like he had like some kind of like protective layer on. Like he was very planned. He was very ready for this. Like it's almost like he had some kind of like, I don't know if they make like a slice proof clothing, or like a layer of like, he had something that he thought that there was no way he was getting caught. Because Nine Pentacles is success. Then we have the Eight of Swords reverse, which is about freedom. And then the Eight of Cups reverse, which is not learning a lesson, or like something changed from the original plan, something that he was avoiding. And then the Fool in reverse is about being unprepared. He wasn't prepared for DNA to be left, because that was the only thing that could tie him back. And he didn't even realize it could tie him back because he wasn't in the system. I don't know if he wasn't considering that they could get DNA this way. I'm sure it crossed his mind because he's very intelligent. But I really think that he took some kind of precaution, that he was like, there's no way DNA is going to be left at the scene. And then he encountered Ethan and got some kind of wound that left DNA at the scene. That hyped him up and got him more mad, which is why everything was as violent as it was, because he knew that his DNA was then there and there was nothing he could do about it. That was Maddie, right? I did Xana, Maddie, Ethan. Page of Swords reverse. All talk, no action. Lack of planning. He was not planning for Ethan to be there. He was not planning for Ethan to be there. Ethan is the reason that his DNA, it may be left in other places, But that's because he first encountered Ethan, and Ethan caused his DNA, he caused some kind of wound on the killer that made his DNA be left at the scene. He was not planning for Ethan to be there. Page of Swords in reverse is a lack of planning. King of Swords in reverse. That's the killer. The killer did not plan for Ethan to be there. He thought that if it was just the girls in the house that he would have all control. I wonder if there was some reason that he could have made it so that Ethan should have been sleeping through this. I don't know. Maybe the connection, there's a lot of people picking up on a connection with other people. Hold on. In terms of the murderer getting help, a lot of people are picking up on that. And I don't want to, Wheel of Fortune. I almost feel like it's possible, my opinion, it's possible that the killer had someone help him to either try and make it so Ethan would be sleeping, or try and make it that Ethan would not be home. And maybe they didn't know that they were helping out with someone who's about to murder people. But all the same, maybe that is the accomplished role that a lot of people are picking up on, especially with the Wheel of Fortune coming out here. It's like good luck. It's also like movement and like getting the wheel turning, so to speak. So that could very well be it. And maybe that's who he's going to try and frame. Like, oh, so-and-so slipped Ethan something so he wouldn't wake up. Or so-and-so tried to get Ethan to go here or stay there or something. So he's the one that... something like that. I really... Let me pull one more card just to be sure about that. Because the Page of Swords in reverse is also gossip. So, like, one person telling another person, oh, do this, or, oh. It's almost like he got a middleman to ask someone else to do it. Ace of Pentacles in reverse, lost opportunity, yeah. He paid... Someone was paid. Someone was paid to either... Maybe it was even just like, hey, I'm going to give you $100 to get Ethan as drunk as you possibly can so that he sleeps well tonight. That kind of thing. Or maybe it was trying to put something in his drink. Or maybe it was trying to get him to not go home. I don't know. But something about Ethan not supposed to be awake and aware and present at that house at that time. He was not expecting it. And that's the only part of his plan that went wrong. And that would also explain him being, a lot of his classmates are saying that Bryan was a lot more talkative and like lively, I guess you would say, in class after the murders. It's because he feels like he defeated the one person who was standing in his way of making this happen. Ethan. Especially because at that time, they weren't releasing anything about the car or the DNA. Death. So with Ethan, we have Page of Swords reverse, which is a lack of planning. He wasn't planning for him to be there. King of Swords in reverse, which is representing the control that the killer thought he would have if the bigger male Ethan was not there and it was just the smaller girls. And then we have the Death card, which is representing what happened. That's what ended up happening due to him being there and being present at the scene and taking away the control from the killer. And then we have the Ace of Wands in reverse, which is another card about rejection. He's confirming the rejection. And also the Ace of Wands is hesitancy. So it's almost like the killer saw him and was like not, maybe not, but like a, oh shit, my plans just changed kind of thing. Like if he were to come out of the closet and make a noise or trip over something and make a noise, that Ace of Wands to me is saying that was his moment eye to eye with Ethan. That was like, oh, my plans just changed. This just changed. I wasn't prepared for this. Kaylee, last one. The Lovers in reverse. Kaylee was the target. I'm telling you, Kaylee was the target. There was a rejection. Xana confirmed it and Ethan confirmed it. There was a rejection. Kaylee just confirmed she's the target in my eyes. That's what that was. And then Maddie was the one who was giving information that night about the killer. Probably details that sorry if you hear that noise. My cats are having like a relay race. It's likely that she maybe confirmed some details about the killer, that the killer, Bryan, thought that the other person would be able to then figure out who he was, or essentially he realized that she knows too much about me and I have to make my move now before she continues to spread information and it leads back to me being a stalker. It was like he was working up towards this happening, and then when Maddie said certain things about the stalker, he realized, oh, she actually knows more than I thought she does, and I have to make my move before she figures out even more, and then my plans are going to be off. Just like when he ran into Ethan, oh, I have to defeat him or my plans are going to be off. Lovers in reverse. Kaylee was a target. My opinion. Can't convince me otherwise, but that's my opinion. The Ace of Wands is also like a blockage. So Ethan was the blockage. He tried to block him. He tried to stop him. Which also makes me feel like it's someone that he shouldn't have otherwise been in the house. Not a close friend, because that's not the energy I'm getting here. 5 of Swords in reverse. Kaylee put up a fight. She was the target. She put up a hell of a fight. High Priestess. She knew. She was a target. She put up a hell of a fight. She feels like damn, I wish I would have known the level of sickness I was dealing with, but there's no way that she could have. But she knew that she was dealing with something that didn't feel right. There's just no way she could have known how wrong or how far gone this person was. No way that she could have known. But she knew something. Her intuition. The High Priestess is telling me that this was the stalker, and this is Kaylee confirming that I was the target. I put up a hell of a fight, and this was my stalker. I knew it. Last card from Kaylee. 5 of Cups reverse. It's about self-forgiveness. It's making me feel like she's going into she's moving further along, like in terms of transitioning. She's beginning to forgive herself, because I think that she was blaming herself for her friends getting killed since she was the target. But I think that the love that everyone's pouring out for this case is making her realize that everyone knows that there's nothing that anyone could have known or done differently. And I think that that's helping her to forgive herself and move forward, which is definitely a positive way to end this reading. Okay, so I didn't want to bring these cards into it, but for some reason I'm feeling called to. I'm just going to pull one card for each of the 4 and have them tell us how they would describe Bryan's energy. Do I want to do before and after? No, because he's the same dark person. Just one from each. Xana will be first to describe Bryan's energy. Eternal servitor, the ancient wanderer, hope, incompleteness, yearning. That absolutely describes what we got from her, because we had the Hermit in reverse, which is about that yearning, that incompleteness that he's feeling. Then we have the choice that he had to make, which is like wandering around his mind. Then we had 6 of Cups in reverse, which is about him being stuck in the past. So that's the yearning, that's the looking for the hope. And then we had the 7 of Pentacles, which is about putting the work in. So that's also with the wandering around and the eternal aspect of the card. And also it's like he's holding the moon in his hand. So it's like he feels like he's in control of the tides of life. And also, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 flames. And also, this card is the card that I pulled in the previous reading that I was like, it looks like his skin is burned off. I feel like maybe this is confirmation from Xana that he did burn his clothing. What did I mention about clothing in this reading? Oh, I feel like he wore a protective shield. Oh, it could be representing that as well because it's like skin tight. Something with clothes. Let me pull one card. Also, he has a hole in his chest. He has no heart. She's saying he has no heart. There's nothing. The blank, dead look that you see in his eyes is because there's no heart in there. And I know that he is innocent until proven guilty. I'm just telling you how Xana sees it, okay? And I agree with her, but... King of Pentacles. So did he burn the clothes, or is it protective gear? I would say he wore some kind of protective gear. It's possible he still burned clothes, but in terms of confirmation, I'm feeling like the King of Pentacles is confirming that he wore some kind of protective gear that he thought would keep him from leaving DNA at the scene. And wasn't expecting Ethan to be there yet, because that would be from Xana, so that'd be confirming Ethan. One last look. That one's the one from Xana. Who did I do next? Maddie. Oh, hold on. Card from Maddie about Bryan. Oh, I knew I wasn't going to do these because I didn't want to deem him as guilty before I got confirmation from them that he was guilty, but I feel like I've gotten it, so now these cards play in. That's what it was. Peaceful among thorns. He went back to class and he acted totally normal. Like everything was a-okay in his world. That's what that makes me think of. He's like sitting there looking like, I'm just here to be in class like everyone else. That's what that picture is saying to me right off the bat. Which confirms Maddie's message because we got the Fool in reverse, which is about being unprepared. So he, in other elements of his life, was seeming prepared and on track. We also got the 8 of Cups in reverse, which is failing to learn from past lessons. So that would be demonstrated in reverse in school learning. Freedom with the 8 of Swords reversed. So that would be kind of like enjoying his freedom because he knows that he shouldn't have his freedom, but he's out there enjoying his freedom anyway. And then we had the 9 of Pentacles, which is about him putting the experience gained through this murder to use to benefit his trajectory of his career. Sorry, I'm really tired, so I'm getting a little confused. Who did I do next? Ethan. The Thinker, father of knowledge, instruction, reinvention. My other reading, I said, I thought that Bryan was trying to take previous undertakings of other people who have committed similar crimes and reinvent the wheel. Reinvention, but he's trying to do it better. The Thinker. We had the Page of Swords reverse, which is about a lack of planning. He wasn't planning for Ethan to be there. So that would be the knowledge and instruction, like he had to reinvent what he was having to do because of Ethan's presence. Then we had the King of Swords reversed, which is about abusing power, and that's exactly what he was planning on doing, was be in the state of abusing his power in his future position, because that knowledge would have been stemming from firsthand experience of these murders, which obviously isn't something that's, you should just be walking around free with that knowledge to use at your benefit. That's not what it's about. And then we have the death card, which, sorry, that's my cat. That guy has like a giant hole in his head. I feel like this is Ethan saying like, how do I put this? I feel like this is Ethan saying that there's something that Bryan feels like he knows and has figured out that actually isn't all the way figured out. There's going to be some way that they're going to be able to get through any barriers that are going to be presented that Bryan thinks will be a solid case in his benefit, but he's missing something or not thinking about something in the right way. There's a hole in his knowledge. There's a hole in his puzzle. And I think that Ethan's going to guide people in the right direction to figuring out what that is, so this guy can be brought to justice without a problem. That's what that's saying to me. Especially because we also, for him, had the Ace of Wands in reverse, which is about like a false start. It confirms the rejection, but it's also like a false start. So, and it would be like Bryan being like, oh, I'm going to get away with this. And then, oh, actually, I'm not. Actually, I missed something. There's a hole in my plan somewhere. It looks like a clock, like the actual blue part on his head looks like a clock, and it looks like the clock is at midnight. So it's almost saying like, time's almost up, buddy. You got away for so long. Thought you were smarter than everybody. Time's almost up. There's a hole in your plan, and we're guiding people in the right direction to help them find it. That's what that's saying to me. And then Kaylee. For some reason, I'm feeling like I need to pull 2 for Kaylee. I don't know why, but I'm going to just listen to it and pull 2. And then we're going to be done for now with this reading. Vaneth, caretaker of the lost, respite, assistance, memory. Yeah, they're helping in some way. Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie are helping to guide people to the right information. They're helping to guide the right people to come forward, or they're like looking for holes in the plan and helping people to realize and use those holes. So this one I think is the extra card that I was thinking of, because that was more of like a confirmation. And now this is going to be the one like from Kaylee about Bryan. Anubis, arbiter of truth. Preservation, neutrality, obligation. Yeah, they are sticking around and helping people bring him to justice. They are not going anywhere. She forgives herself now, and now it's game freaking on. She's making sure this guy gets convicted and convicted and convicted and convicted of every single thing he did. She's helping to bring out the truth. Hold on. My eyes just got really watery when I said that. Does this card have anything to do with them wanting us to find the knife? I think I just answered my own question. Look at that little blue, and then look at what he's holding in his hand there. The hole in his plan that Ethan was talking about. And I just said, is it that they want us to find the knife? And he's holding the blue in his hand now. Also, he's holding a giant sword in his hand. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Lack of progress. It's the aspect of the case that they've had lack of progress in, is finding that knife. It's also about missed chances. So it's like they want to solidify that conviction with the knife. True or false? The World. Completion. The snake wrapped around the egg, the snake that took the life. World. Completion. They want us to find that knife. Okay, I am going to go through the listings of what everyone sent me on the last video titled Where's the Knife? And as soon as humanly possible, I'm a little behind on work right now, but as soon as I am able to, I'm going to start to go through that list and see if we can pinpoint where this knife is. Hold on, I gotta think for a second. I don't like to pause when I'm thinking and stuff because I like you guys to just see the raw footage so that you can see everything. I'm trying to think of what card to use to ask a question. Oh, I can use these. Okay, my question is, shuffle. My question is, maybe I should use tarot. I'm gonna use tarot. My question is, will somebody that has given information or is about to give information on that post, will that lead us, sorry, my phone's about to die. Will that lead us to finding the knife? Now, this is not saying everyone go run all over the place and check all of those locations. I want to look into them and try and narrow it down. I do feel like they're going to lead us to the right location. I feel like that's just what they want to happen. Okay, so, oh, that flew out. 10 of Swords. I think if I could pick one card out of the entire deck to confirm that, it'd probably be this card. This one or Ace of Swords, but I think we're going to use that. All right. I will get on that as soon as possible. Happy New Year, and I will talk to you guys soon.